Thank you so much for staying tuned to this channel. If you just joined us, this is TMI. You can call it This Morning on ITV. You'll be right on point for the network center, Benin, and of course Abuja. We're going to be having this synergy in conducting this interview. But it all started a few months ago, not up to 2 months, when there was an explosion in the Rivers State House of Assembly. It not feel like in the atmosphere that there was, so to speak, an impeachment plot. The impeachment orchestrated by those right now allegedly loyal, yes, loyal to the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory. Allegations. And of course, the man said he has no hands in what is happening in Rivers State. There was a meeting called. A truce was broken between Fubara and, of course, the minister. And we all thought that all is well, all is cook and curry, that Rivers State right now is at peace. All of a sudden, yesterday, 27 out of the 32 members of the House of Assembly in Rivers State defected from the PDP to the APC. The report has it that only 5 members in the House that are loyal to Fubara Simi, they are still in the APC. What was this squabble? These 27 members, allegedly loyal to the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, are accusing the governor of shielding the ones behind the alleged bombardment, so to speak, of the State House of Assembly complex. And that is where we are right now. That is where we are today. With me here in the studio to talk about this is a lecturer in Uniben, a very, very senior lecturer. Join me to welcome Dr. Owen, right?
Yes, Owen. Yes.
Hope I got him correctly.
Yes.
Yeah, welcome to TMI. I appreciate your coming.
It's my pleasure, and I'm happy to be here.
All right.
Thank you so much.
It's like Nigerian political landscape is just moving in a way that many persons are like saying the more you look, the less you see. Some are saying we just can't fathom it, we just can't understand it anymore. We're thinking that the Rivers State saga has come and gone. All of a sudden, there was a loud noise in political scene where 27 out of 32 House members defected from the PDP to the APC. And some are saying we know what is coming next. But take it up from here, the action of the 27 members.
It's to me, it's a pitiable scenario. In as much as I don't want to be emotional about these things.
Yeah.
I don't want to. I have recently tried not to allow Nigeria political scenario to get to me. Because if one is not careful, these things can drive you crazy. So I don't want to be emotional about it. Even at that. I know for one that politicians don't forgive. It is not in their dictionary to forgive offenders, especially people they technically brought into power, or people they technically make. When such people go wrong or possibly go against their agreements, they don't forgive. But to me, that is more like it's personal. I really don't think it should now rub off on an entire state. I am not used to wearing black. I'm not a fan of black. Black, no. People who know me know I don't like black. But I am mourning. I'm mourning Nigeria political scenario, things that are happening. It was a rude shock yesterday when the flashing deadline, 27 out of 32. Of course, even a blind man knows where all this is tilting to. Even the dumbest man on the street. You don't need to be educated to know that this will lead somewhere. And it's just a matter of time. We don't even know if we will get to next year before the expected, I will not call it unexpected, because everything is pointing towards that direction. The expected will happen. And of course, you know, impeachment of the current governor of Rivers State. I really don't want to dabble into many things, but it is sad that the whole state is being held to ransom. It is a coup against democracy in this country. And it's something that has become a trend. And of course, the people who have the voice to condemn it, have the voice to kick against it, have been subdued by poverty. Such that when they toss a morsel of bread to you, in fact, everybody who is, or almost, let me not use the word everybody, almost everybody who is agitating for one thing, or so-called activists, to me, I see them as people who want to come to limelight, who want to be known. Once they are known by the people they are criticizing, and a morsel of meal is tossed to them, they become loyal and subservient. You barely can hear these people talk again. It is disheartening. And of course, will you really, in as much as I want to blame these people who are supposedly activists, we have seen many of them in the Nigerian political space, who were once activists, who were once opposing the government of the day, become ministers in this country, become governors, become, you know, we have them around us.
Yeah.
Once they get into this political space, it appears there is a demon there that possesses everybody, that kills your conscience. You no longer care about what is happening outside. Making it feel as if that was your initial, or their initial hint in the beginning for criticizing the government of the day at that time. To me, I really feel sad about what happened yesterday. Fubara is really, in all sincerity, to me, he's gone.
It's gone.
Yes.
But still, the man is saying this is a fight to finish because he doesn't want to, like, throw in the towel. And he's saying that Rivers State is going to resist any form of godfatherism. Do you see that trend of godfatherism playing itself in the Rivers State?
Absolutely. The former governor, our dear Governor Winke, in fact, he cannot deny not having a hand in this.
But he said he doesn't have a hand in this.
It's normal for people to deny some obvious things. They deny, they don't want to own up. Governor Wike is, sorry, former Governor Wike, now Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, is greatly involved in this. You know, they deceived, it has happened here in this state before. When they supposed the truce was brokered between former Governor Adam Soshomole and our current governor, and everybody thought it was over. Only for us to see the events that happened prior to the election of 2020, the Edo State election of 2020. Many things happened for the re-election of the governor, who decamped from APC to PDP and got the tickets. It was war in this state. But there are no people resisted that act of godfatherism. Oshomole wanting to enthrone himself as a godfather in this state. A lot of people resisted it. But, and of course, you know, even when it appears as if Oshomole had a major chunk of the persons in the House of Assembly as at that time, the governor, to save himself, did some very drastic things. And of course,
he made some smart moves.
Yes, smart moves. So let's put it that way, smart moves. And smart moves that he learned from his master, his predecessor.
Okay.
That's Oshomole.
All right.
You know, he is a technocrat, so he modified it and, of course, perfected it. And that was what saved him. All right. With this scenario now, we're talking about 27 of 32.
27 of 32.
Of 32. Even if the governor likes the way it is now, if he likes, let him possibly make it impossible for the House of Assembly to meet. A time will come when, you know, the party that they have moved to now,
the APC.
The APC is the one that controls the center and, of course, has majority members in the National Assembly. The National Assembly may take over the State House of Assembly, and they start to administer it from there. So the thing is really, I really don't see the governor surviving. All right. In all sincerity. And of course, the current minister of the Federal Capital Territory, is the chief. He's the chief in all this. He cannot.
But he's saying he doesn't have the hand in this. However, this is truce brokered between him and Fubara by the presidency. Well, we want to go for a break. We'll return. We'll definitely continue with this discussion. What is really happening in Rivers State? 27 out of 32 members of the House to turn in court right now, so to speak. We'll be right back. Don't go away.
TMI. Every opinion counts.
Thank you so much for staying tuned. If you just joined us, this is TMI. You can call it this morning on ITV. You'll be right on point. Taking a look at what is happening right now in Rivers State, the crisis in Rivers State, where 27 out of 32 members of the House of Assembly defected from PDP to the APC. Some are saying, well, you know what is coming next. Impeachment. This man, Simi Fubara, may not be able to withstand the pressure. All right? Anyway, judging us right now in the studio, he is a political analyst, a human rights activist, political commentator. Join me to welcome Idris Zachary. Idris, welcome to TMI Tuesday edition. I appreciate your coming.
Thank you so much. Right. My sincerest apologies for coming behind schedule.
All right. And of course, I still have Dr. Owen Olowo right here with me in the studio. And he said he's so sad. He's so sad. He's mourning political space in Nigeria, but what can one really do? Now, Idris, let's get to hear from you. With that move by the 27 members of the House in Rivers State, were you shocked by this sudden move, or you saw it coming?
Well, before I say anything, I need to specially recognize my lecturer who is sitting next to me.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
He taught me in the university, and
I'm proud of you.
I am deeply honored to be sitting next to my. I'm sure most of my classmates will see me and say, father and son, because we're very close.
Very close.
So,
he's a mathematics graduate too. Oh, yes.
So, thank you, sir, for all you did for us in our days in the university.
Thank you so much.
Speaking to your question, there's what they call cognate experience. I have been 13 years in active partisan politics, so I have cognate experience in politics. And if you are a political student by any stretch of the imagination, you will know that there's nothing that happens in politics that is new. And look, we saw this coming, and I was emphasize that because politicians are very poor students of history. That's why they do what they do. So when Nyesom Wike was buying form for everybody in Rivers State, his thoughts were that when you buy form for your candidates, those candidates will owe you absolute loyalty. It's like a man who marries, for his brother, and expects to also help the brothers to make babies. As soon as these people take office, they will no longer listen to you the way they used to listen to you, because these are men of their own. And a governor, I have always said that a governor is not a person you can control. So the defection of the 27 members of the State House of Assembly is another dance in the G House of commotion. Eventually, it will amount to nothing, I promise you, because there are humongous resources in the hands of Siminala Ifubara, the governor of Rivers State. I checked their budget this morning. They have a budget of close to $1 trillion, about 860 billion. For context, Edo's budget is 360 billion. You see the difference in terms of resources. And if a state like Edo, with a 360 billion budget, our biggest in the history of this state, can have a governor run the state with 10 members of the State House of Assembly for 4 years and even did not fall. Siminala Ifubara will run Rivers State with 4 members of the State Assembly.
No,
five now. Yes. Of the State Assembly for as long as he wants. Maybe if he's allowed to stay constitutionally till Jesus come, he will be there till Jesus come and nothing will happen. But just to speak to the issues, in every issue I would like to take side. I usually want to take side because I don't believe that when there's a quarrel, there is an aggressor, there's a victim and there's a villain. So, what we do around there is when people are calling, say, oh, you for not doing like you for not doing like this, make una settle. That's not a good way to settle things. If two people are quarreling, must allocate blames. I find it for the first time in a very long time that I'm unable to allocate blame in this quarrel. Nyesom Wike did everything that a leader, a godfather should do. We must call it the name it is. It's godfatherism in the proper sense of it, by installing Siminala Ifubara. So much so that nobody was allowed to contest the PDP ticket with him. If you remember, there was a gentleman from the House of Representatives who was very interested in being governor of Rivers State. That man was arrested multiple times. He lost his seat in the House of Representatives. I am sure as we speak, he's still battling police issues. Just because Nyesom Wike wanted to install Siminala Ifubara as governor of Rivers State. You also remember that EFCC had a cocktail of allegations against Siminala Ifubara. And Ifubara was a private citizen. So he could be arrested, he could be prosecuted, but Wike shielded him. And it was rumored that he lived permanently in Rivers State Government House. And Wike made him governor, so that in the next 4 to 8 years, nothing can happen to him. EFCC cannot even touch him with a long stick. So this is what this man has invested into Siminala Ifubara. Also, I need to point out that Siminala Ifubara was a civil servant. Civil servant. Imagine a civil servant metamorphosing to becoming a serving civil servant. He's not even retired yet. A serving civil servant metamorphosing to become a governor. That shows you the effort made by Nyesom Wike. On the other hand, Nyesom Wike should learn by now that history, godsons are not always loyal to Godfather. You cannot control a governor. There are several case studies. In Enugu State, you will remember Sullivan Chime and his benefactor. Here in Edo State, you will remember Governor Godwin Obaseki and Comrade Adams Oshomole. If he had studied this trajectory very well, and it was part of our own story here when we were having our own battle, he should have known that the job of a man who is leaving office is to create a level playing field, let everybody in the party contest, and let the best man win. We are repeating the same mistake here in Edo State today. That we believe that some people cannot run. The governor has the right to select his successor. He has the right to nominate his successor. It is time to learn. It is a lesson in history, and people should know that you help somebody to get to office does not mean the person will be loyal to you.
All right.
And the cane they used to flog the first wife, usually it is kept. They will also use it to flog the second wife. For those who are married, I am not married, so I don't know the details of that.
Okay, well, you forgot one part. The body treatment. No, talking about, if you take a look at...
You mean the armed body treatment?
Thank you, the armed body treatment. If you take a look at what is happening right now in the Rivers State, you get to realize that the intensity of the fight is tending towards one direction. All the things you mentioned that the ex-white governor did for the present governor of Rivers State, those things that he did is still fresh in the minds of so many persons loyal to the ex-governor in Rivers State. They know the history. Do you think that this is the reason why there's this massive defection showing unalloyed loyalty to the minister of the Federal Capital Territory in the person of Nyesom Wike? Over to you.
Yes, you see, I am a scientist.
Yes.
Sometimes when you build models, you have some outliers. For the fact that we have had scenarios where governors who were not in total control of their state House of Assembly govern a state for as long as they wanted to do. But in this case, I see an outlier here. This Wike's case, Wike is somebody who is known to fight to finish. Wike already knew from the beginning, even though there were cases of history of governors who have betrayed
their godfathers, so to speak.
It's not in quote. It's the truth.
It's out there.
Yes.
It's public knowledge.
So who have betrayed their godfather? Wike knows all this and still went ahead because he already had all these things. He had his plans up his sleeves. Wike knew what he was doing from the beginning. From the very beginning, when he was being magnanimous, empowering people, you know, he had over how many thousand?
200,000 SSA. The first to have done it in Nigerian history.
They were being paid, and you expect those people not to be loyal to him. They are all loyal. You know, I was telling you something a moment ago. I said, this. I don't want to get emotional because Nigerian politics can drive somebody crazy. It is happening around you. I don't let it get to me. I just look at it and I pity this country. Because why I pity this country? Because the people who can change this thing are the people who are in power. And they don't want to change it because they want to continually hold the rest of us to perpetual bondage. There's a way out of all this. They know the way out of all this. We have had several electoral reforms, review electoral act and all that, and they have refused to put in the electoral act that defection, cross-carpeting should be discouraged. They know the solution to this problem, but they will not want to. So for this Wike's case, I beg to differ. This governor, I really don't know how many persons are loyal, except maybe the people from his own. I think the man is from
his ethnic group.
From his ethnic group, and are they really in the majority in that state? Now, and beside, Wike has federal backing, and 5 people out of 32 loyal to you. You have lost 27. You know, there's this slogan, Edo not be Lagos and all that. The case of Edo was different because we had a Buhari who was not really interested in meddling into the affairs of what happens in states. Yeah. He gave the governors free hand to run their state because he was like technically a man of peace in the political scene. He does not disturb you, don't disturb him. But we have, yes, that was why Obaseki could pull through. Yeah. Obaseki could pull through because we had a Buhari at the center who does not really care how you govern your state so long as you don't come to the center to disturb him. Now we have a Jagaban who is interested in states in the south for obvious reasons because of the wealth. They want as many states as possible from the south to be in APC. And I'm still very taken aback why the PDP has not done anything to Wike as per disciplinary action with all this obvious act of saboteur to the party.
There's anti-party activities.
Nothing has been done to him. So this Wike's case, Wike has the backing of the center. He keeps denying that he does not have a hand in it. How can we take such a man serious? How can we believe such a man when there are videos everywhere of this same man telling us that over my dead body, I will never decamp to APC? The videos are everywhere.
But he has not decamped, really. He's still in PDP.
That he will never fraternize. Let's put it that way.
Okay.
What are we saying? Why are we deceiving ourselves? Is this not as good as decamping? What are we? Is it because the PDP has not taken? I don't really know why. What they are shielding? Why they are not taking that drastic action against Wike for his anti-party activities? I really don't know why. To be very honest with you, in all sincerity, my friend, I don't see Fubara
surviving
this. Okay. Worst case scenario, what will happen? The National Assembly will take over the Rivers State Assembly.
I'll come back to you.
Because the federal government is interested in Rivers State.
Okay, I'll come back to you. Now he talked about interest of the center. He talked about that we had Muhammadu Buhari don't like being disturbed. I won't disturb you, don't disturb me, and that is just factual. He doesn't like disturbance. He wants to do his job. But this time around, we have a president that is interested in politics, and of course, in a way, whether you want to believe it or not, he's so much interested in the southern part of Nigeria, the states, vis-a-vis Rivers State, Edo State, Delta State, Bayelsa, most especially where he got the large chunk of votes, Rivers State. Having this in mind, do you see Fubara being given the abundant treatment?
Ambode's case was peculiar.
But he was a governor.
He was a governor. He fought. He disagreed with the party from top to bottom. His performance was never in doubt.
With the party or with the man that is in charge now?
Well, with the party. Well, because the man is the party in Lagos. The man is
the party in Lagos.
I like that part. The man is the party in Lagos.
All right.
In Fubara's case, well, even if a moron was in charge of Rivers, that moron with that kind of resources should be able to protect himself.
Should be
able to protect himself. Whether he has the political nerve to do it is a different kettle of fish entirely. My own pain, my frustration is with the people who will suffer at the end. Because when two elephants fight, it's the grass that suffers. These politicians have proven over time that they do not have the interest of the people mostly at heart. And I say this with all sense of clarity, keeping in mind that what is the gain to the Rivers people about what is going on right now? First of all, what's the quarrel? According to Wike, you cannot remove the structure that brought you. And Fubara now believes that that structure that brought him is the same structure that will destroy him if that structure is not dismantled. And he's determined to do it. So this is where we are. Going forward, I want to propose that these two gentlemen should shed their swords. What is going on is not respect to democracy. You know, imagine 27, 4 have suspended, 5 have suspended 27. And the 27 are functioning a bit illegally, and the 5 are functioning well with the coverage of government. State apparatus. This is what democracy looked at. This is what autocracy looked at, and we decided to choose democracy. And I always warn that if you think that democracy is not the best form of government, try autocracy. Try military dictatorship. And I have said it before and I'm saying it again. Those who think that it is the people that will suffer if we lose this precious democracy that we are managing. It's not perfect, it's not good, but I promise you, so help me God, if anything happens to our democracy, the first casualties will be these same gentlemen who are acting very irresponsibly. And then I now say in final analysis that there is nothing absolutely to fight about. Wike is more or less the governor of Lagos, Abuja.
Of course.
Similarly, Fubara is the governor of Rivers. Remove your eyes from Rivers State. Sim, do not fight the people that brought you to power. There is a special place reserved in hell for ingrates. If somebody has put his effort, his resources, to help you to get to power. In this case, I'm not talking about Wike. The boys in the state, those boys in the state, like some of us in 2016, that we became an opposition in our own state. Those boys in the state who have put their lives on the line, who have suffered to make you governor. You cannot treat them, you cannot discard them, and then the only people who are not supporting you are coming from that small minority, your ethnic group. Keep in mind that if you allow Sim to run election, if ethnic coloration is to play a role, Sim will not win election in 1,000 years.
Absolutely.
Because he's part of the state, less than 5% of the state population. But they've never been governor. So this man put his foot on the ground.
Made him a governor.
And made him a governor. For those of us who are pro-Labour, because we believe that Rivers is pro-Labour, I still insist that there was no election in Rivers.
Well, that is your
what
opinion.
We had was a selection.
There was an election. Please look, Idris, this one I put my foot down. There was an election in Rivers, and INEC produced the results and announced results. Please,
I agree with you that INEC produced a result.
Yes.
But the electoral process is the one you and I will disagree for the next.
Anyway, they've gone to court and back, and the court decided that. Okay, now let me come to you. No, he said there's a special place in hell reserved for Ingrid this time around. He's talking about, he wasn't talking about Wike. He's taking a look at what Simi Fubara would have thought of before he started tinkling or tampering with the structure that brought him to power. Now, he also said, with the resources made available to him or at his disposal, he was able to fight this to finish, like what happened in Edo State. Don't forget, we have majority out of the house, but with the minority, the governor succeeded in running the state, and
for 4
really,
years.
Heaven didn't fall. Do you see Fubara fighting this to the last? I mean, the last man standing against the great right now, Yensam Wike.
Well,
in quotes.
my former student here,
Yes.
He's doing so well. I'm really enjoying the analysis from him.
Yeah.
I also want to say something here. He mentioned something. If he has the political will, besides the resources, it is not enough to have resources. Do you have what it takes? Do you have the wherewithal? Do you have the might? Do you have the strength? Do you have the courage to push through? And to me, it is like Fubara versus the rest of Rivers State.
Versus the rest of Rivers State,
Yes,
because of the structure built that Wike.
Exactly. Wike did all these things, and people thought he was doing Rivers people a favor, not knowing that he was enthroning himself a godfather in Rivers State. And obviously, he succeeded in doing that. As for Fubara becoming an ingrate, I really am not a fan of the fact that because you have helped somebody to get to a certain position, the person should now become subservient to you. The person should no longer have a mind of his or her own. I really believe that, in as much as I said something earlier before my friend came, that politicians don't forgive.
They don't forgive.
Yes, I've long realized that. They will appear to do what is called a window dressing. Like in the case of Oshomole versus Obaseki. There was one time in the media, we saw on TV, Obaseki went to Oshomole's country home in Iyamo, and there was this hugging,
embrace and hugs and all that.
of us thought that was the end of the saga. Only for us to see Oshomole begging everybody to support the candidate he once destroyed in the previous election and all that. So sometimes I also believe that politicians not forgiving is not an entirely a bad thing.
Why would you say so?
Because by the grace of God, I have a place I manage. I've realized that I'm not going to say that forgiveness is for the weak. I won't say that. Because they say to err is human, to forgive is divine. There is some cases, especially when you are heading an organization and somebody has done something to you, and you have people watching what that person has done to you, they want to see your reaction. When you forgive, the people, you have empowered the people who are watching to also treat you in that manner.
So you have to
and
punish.
And they will take you for granted. You know, Newton's third law of motion. To every action, there's an equal and opposite reaction. So my take, in as much as I support politicians not forgiving, but I also do not want them to bring their personal grudge to affect an entire state. You have something personal with Fubara. I really think that can be addressed personally. But now, what is happening in River State? Like my friend here and my former student said, how will this contribute to the development of the state? I'm telling you, for the next, for as long as Fubara will last, of course, all the resources of River State, that last chunk of budget he talked about,
we'll go into this quarrel.
Will be used to defend his state. I'm sure you know when Obaseki had this issue with Oshomole here, when he ran to River State to meet Wiki, went to Delta State to lobby all the PDP South governors and all that. I'm sure you know, let's not deceive ourselves, a lot of resources went into that. There were a rumor at some point that he gave some billions to this person and all that. I'm telling you this, close to $1 trillion budget that River State is proposing for the financial year 2024, a chunk of it will be spent defending his mandate. So you now ask yourself, where is the role of the common man in all this? Where is the role? It's as if we just elected, look at my hand, elected, in quote, a few persons to just do what they like. Take all of us for a ride. Take us hostage. This is a coup against democracy. It's a coup, and it's sad. Whoever is watching and applauding what is happening there, like he said, the cane that they used to flog the first wife is hiding somewhere.
For the second wife.
For the second wife and subsequent wives. Yes, it will touch everybody. It is not only on one person's roof that it rains. It rains everywhere. I want to say this. I don't know if I will give the opportunity to say it again.
Yeah.
I want to say this. Our politicians are not sincere. And it is sad.
Absolutely.
Very sad. I am getting emotional now.
Please watch your emotions. Please watch your emotions. Watch your emotions.
They are sad.
Yeah.
It's sad rather. Very sad. We know the solution out of all these problems. Somebody get elected on a particular platform. And then before you know it, because of one thing or the other, the person decamps. That is undemocratic if you ask me. And the only way I think this impasse in River State can be resolved is the electorate who technically, or who we are alleged to have elected these persons into power, to start to recall their representatives. There's a way to do that.
Process of recall.
And again,
that's what the issue is.
And again, the umpire that is in charge of that process, will they let it come through?
Good question.
Yes.
I will come back to you. Would they let it come through? I will definitely come back to you, because right now, it is getting seriously upsetting the Nigerian polity, in the sense that Rivers State is still very much in the picture. I've seen this drastic move, and many people are like saying that this might just be the beginning of the end of Simi. But it is said he's going to use the resources if he truly have
Political.
will. W-I-L-L, the will to fight, to finish. Do you see this fight elapsing through the tenure of Simi, if the inevitable, so to speak, right now, is not prevented, which is impeachment?
I still don't think they can impeach Sim Fubara, not in Rivers State. Rivers, if you know the history of Rivers State and you know the Ijaw people by nature, you will know that it's the first time they are getting it's not going to happen. I just know it's a gut feeling. All the pointers suggest that you have him caged, but there's a gut feeling that that man is not going anywhere. But eventually people will suffer because resources, like my father said, will be channeled to address the issues. Yes. Well, that said, I want to strongly advise the minister, suggest to the minister of the FCT, in this kind of fight, usually the governor will win. Usually.
But Abon didn't win.
No, well, Ambode...
Don't forget that,
No.
that part.
You
He did not win.
You have to keep
Ambode was not impeached.
Ambode was
Yes.
not impeached. Ambode lost a party primaries.
He wasn't re-elected.
Yes.
He lost the party primaries. And if Ambode had decided to go to any other political party, don't forget our governor here was
fast.
disqualified from his own party.
Yes.
The original party that brought him,
Yes.
and he defected.
Yes. And he won
And he won.
on the new platform.
People like to give sympathy votes.
Yeah.
Yes, so sympathy. There was no premise upon which to win. It's just the sympathy.
Yes, of course.
In Lagos, it's the same thing. If Ambode had decided to put his foot on the ground, he would have won. I went to Ekpe recently. What he did in Ekpe, nobody can contradict it. If you go to Oshodi, what he did in Oshodi, you cannot contradict it. It's there. It's there, standard. Nobody can contradict it.
Very true.
So for Sim, let him begin to rethink his strategies. And my strongest, because I don't want Wike. I sort of love Wike. I love his guts. I may not like his style. I may not like his personality, but I love his guts. And you have seen it play out in the FCT, where some people believe that the FCT belongs to them. And he has made it abundantly clear that the FCT belongs to Nigerians.
Of course.
And in any case, the money used to build the FCT, majority of it came from his own place.
Yes, from the staff that. True.
So when people begin to say, oh, the Israeli ambassador visited him, something that is happening 7,000 kilometers away, you want to, a problem, you have your own problem that you cannot solve. Problem that is happening 7,000 kilometers away between Israel and Hamas, you want to domesticate it so that you have something to talk about. And he has put his foot on the ground. Some people came the other day, they are FCT indigens, they don't like him. Another group has come this morning that we are FCT indigens, we like him. He's that kind of man.
Politics.
He's not a man of process, but he's a man of results. Yeah, results are good. Those for some
How
of
do you
us who
see
believe.
Simi surviving this man's onslaught? Because he's saying it has nothing to do with it. He keeps saying it.
Yes,
my
he
hands are
does,
clear. I have nothing to do with it.
Former
But
governor, Minister Yeson Wike has something to do with it. This is the truth.
Yeah.
Everybody in Rivers State, including Siminalayi Fubara's form, were bought by Wike. Again, let's underline, he did not use Wike's money to buy it. Because Wike, as a person, has no money to buy that number of funds.
Yeah.
It is our collective resources. When public leaders, like the one we have around who said they cannot give money and power, when they begin to talk like the money is their own, it's something that is very disheartening. This money is not your own. Siminalayi, I believe, will survive. But Wike must watch it. The road to political irrelevance is usually paved with gold. You think you have it all figured out, only begin to crumble on you. We have a case here. The bad name, not the bad name, the disaffection that Comrade Adams Oshomole have with some people in Edo State today was because of the way he projected the present governor. Let's not take anything away from that. There were many other people who were eminently qualified in 2016 to be governor. But he stepped them down to pick Governor Godwin Obaseki. Similar thing is happening today. maybe Governor Obaseki has not said it publicly, but his people, his friends, are saying that no other person qualifies to contest except the one that is picked by Mr. Governor.
But they say he doesn't have an anointed candidate, so let's take him for his word.
Well, let's take him for his word.
So I want to dive into that.
If he does
right
not
now.
have an anointed candidate, what's his quarrel with his deputy?
Okay.
Why is it that all the founding members of PDP in Edo State, I give you name, Sergio Ogun has left, Maikono Lememe has left.
Well,
all the founding leaders of PDP in Edo State have left the PDP to sometimes Labour, sometimes APC.
Idris, we are focusing on Rivers.
Yes, of course.
There's a reason for that.
No, we must draw parallels.
Of course, I know. I will come back to you, Idris.
Yes.
Now, over now to you.
Yes.
He took out people's suffering, and to me, may just use all his power, his might, finances to fight this particular cause. Don't forget, it was still this man, wicked, that dislodged the struggle, so to speak, of his own, how would I put it now, former boss.
Yeah. Yeah.
It dislodged everything about him. He became someone of repute to the extent that this man, Amici, according to the report right now, he's in Labour.
Labour Party.
That is the report we are getting right now.
We welcome him to our
If
party.
it's anything to go by, the rumors making around that now he's now left the party for the weekend, whatever it's because now he left.
Yeah.
This same man, and it was this same man also, like what you rightly said,
Yes.
a party couldn't touch him.
Yeah.
Despite his
Anti-party
antecedents
activities and all
of
that.
anti-party activities, one leg in the PDP, one leg in the APC, and he's the only one that have done it and is succeeding in Nigeria.
Okay.
And he's saying this is what he wants, like saying the body of Esau, but the voice of Jacob, something of that nature.
Yeah.
From all this that is happening right now, how do you think all this will end? He's suggesting the truth.
Yes.
He said they should sheath the sword.
For me,
How do you think this will end? Because don't forget what happened. If time isn't taken, it may lead to total breakdown of law and order. Men, women, youths may go in for this.
you know, recently over the media, there's a trending video purportedly done in the chief of staff's office, where I call Wike is a trailblazer. Wike is a force. Whether you like it or not, whether you come to terms with it, hate it or like it, Wike is a force in Nigeria political space. In that video, we saw what more anti-party activity can you attribute? The video is trending everywhere, where you see Wike singing and dancing on your mandate. On your mandate. I don't know where I've seen that video.
Yes,
your
mandate.
And then they even turned in somebody, they videoed him to, I believe to ridicule him, if you ask me. Because in that same video, somebody was knocking on the door of to the office of the chief of staff. And our dear, respected former governor and now Minister of the Federal Capital Territory was the one that went to open the door for the person that was knocking. It was really very pathetic. I was like, wow, right? Respected Wike. Wike was a minister of Education under Goodluck Jonathan.
It was.
And then he went to Rivers State and fought the Godfathers to stand still. The Godfathers.
And he won.
Yeah. But we had the former governor Amici. There we have Peter Odili. We have those all those guys. Wike fought them to a standstill. And I want to believe this is largely due to the part of Rivers State that Wike is from. They are in the majority. And then if you look at this current governor now, he's from the Ijaw-speaking part of the state. The Ijaws, they claim to be the fourth largest ethnic group in Nigeria because they have presence in Bayelsa, they have presence in Edo State,
all riverine areas.
Yes, they have presence
Ondo,
in Delta State,
Delta.
in Ondo. So they claim to be the fourth largest ethnic group in Nigeria. And one thing I have noticed about the Ijaw people, they synergize most of the times. When there is a problem in any of the Ijaw-speaking community, like they had in the Delta States,
they move in drones.
They move around. They travel through the water and then they converge there to assist any of their person that is in crisis. Now for Rivers State is a very volatile state, and it has always been volatile. During elections, violence there is to the moon. And for this particular impasse in Rivers State, with all honesty, I do not see Fubara surviving.
But now, do you see this degenerated to violence because of what you said about the minority, the community, as you say, look, these are all will defend him from, let's say, beginning to the end.
A point will come, and I believe, like I said earlier, and I want to still maintain, we had a Buhari. Obaseki succeeded in 2020.
Yes, 2019.
1919, when he had issues with Oshomole. He couldn't impeach him. He, like I told you, he improved on the model that he learned from his master. As Oshomole removed the roof, he came and put a granite in front of the gate, and then the House of Assembly members were meeting in the government house. But in this case, because we had a Buhari who didn't really care, Buhari didn't want anything to come to him, but we have a Jagaban. A Jagaban that was told during his campaign that Edo not be Lagos. A Jagaban that was made to believe that the states in the South are being willed, or they have been PDP. Most of the states in the South have been PDP since 1999. And this is an APC government at the central level. And Wike is in bed, not romancing again, in bed with the APC government. This is not romance. This is they say handshake that has gone beyond your ankle. It's no longer an handshake. Wike is already in bed with the APC government. And of course, the APC government at the center, the House of Representatives, or National Assembly rather, that is APC controlled, they will bring all the apparatus in place to ensure that you cannot tell me that 5 will be majority over 17. So
over 27.
Bring all the 27 rather, not 17. They will bring all the apparatus. There are sections of the law that says when there is crisis in the State House of Assembly,
National Assembly take over.
And of course, when they take over, what do you think will happen to Fubara?
All right.
Fubara may not last till the first quarter of next year.
All right. He may not last.
Yes.
Now, don't forget about what the reason behind the defection. They said the governor refused to bring out those responsible for the bombing of the complex. They said the governor is shielding them. Now, if the governor have access to such caliber of persons, do you see security situation in Rivers State deteriorating?
Well, it's part of, again, my worry for democracy, that it is said that a governor, no, let's leave it in the realm of allegation. It is alleged that a governor superintended the burning of a state assembly. And like I tell you, in a democracy, the only thing that separates a democracy from a dictatorship is the legislature.
Yeah.
During military dictatorship, you have the executive as represented by the Supreme Military Council. And then you have the judiciary. You have a chief judge. When you still have problems, they will still drag you before a court. The only thing that makes a dictatorship a democracy is now you have legislators, people's representatives elected to speak on behalf of the people. To even be imagined, it's something that should be beyond imagination. To even imagine that a chief executive will allegedly sponsor and now be shielding people that burnt a whole state house of assembly underscores the kind of democracy we are practicing in this part of the world. Now, those who said, oh, release those who burned the assembly, they themselves, what is their plan? You see, on this case, I am finding it very difficult
to take sides.
Because I will never support anybody who betrays those who have helped them. I agree that if you marry a wife for somebody, it's not your duty to help them to make babies.
Of course.
But that you have married a wife for me, I must continuously acknowledge that if not for you, this beautiful wife that is giving me these wonderful children would not have happened. But there is a line to it. Whether we can cross that line or not is something that nobody has been able to establish. Wike has Abuja to deal with. Abuja is a problem on its own. Abuja's budget is almost equivalent to Rivers' budget. Small difference. So if Wike, for any reason, wants to control Abuja and control Rivers, then we can say, oh, gentlemen, no. If he was unemployed, we'll say, because you are unemployed, as a godfather, you should take care of people. Keep in mind that when Wike was governor, he also took care of godfathers. Peter Odili is their generalissimo in Rivers State. Everywhere Wike went to, Peter Odili was sitting by the side. Rotimi Amechi was not unemployed. Rotimi Amechi under Buhari, I said, was the most influential minister. So much so that it was rumored that Buhari wanted to hand over to him. Yeah. It was only when he lost primaries that the man shifted back to his eternal base, his traditional base. So, and you know, we mentioned, my father here mentioned the PDP, that why has the PDP not be able to sanction Wike? The PDP as a party, I still believe, are the people that brought us to where we are today, and I will prove it. The PDP had a unique opportunity in 1999 to set this our country on a democratic journey that will bring prosperity to the country. It was totally mismanaged for almost 16 years. Their new cousin now, APC, has learned from the, no, they are cousins now. Are they not cousins? PDP, they are cousins. They are first cousins now. Their cousin has now joined. Now you see the way they are cross-carpeting. See the way the politicians are switching. Today, the national chairman of, the former national chairman has been removed now. The former national chairman of APC was a PDP governor. The PDP leaders today, Atiku contested presidential election. So what is the difference? It's the same 10 and tempest. It's they call them CMS twins. Yes. They have the same umbilical cord. They are joined together like this. So this is where we have this problem. That's my quarrel with PDP. A party that cannot even obey its own internal rules. That they will zone power after a certain period of time. You expect them to be able to sanction a Wike. He has seen all the loopholes and is exploiting them, but there is a danger to it. And the danger is when you start running amok, there's this danger that you will run out of relevance. And I am appealing to him. It is time to retrace. If I were in his shoes, if I were Wike today, sitting in Abuja, I will do so much in Abuja that they will be looking for the next job to give to me. He did fantastic work in Rivers. There's no doubt about it. His process may be flawed, but his work is impeccable. He has results. Yes, he has results. And he should do same in Abuja. This Rivers problem is distracting, and his enemies are beginning to capitalize on it. Before you know now, it was only when Obaseki and Oshomole quarreled that Oshomole knew he had so much enemies. Look at where we are today. Even some of the people who ate under Oshomole's government to the twilight of it immediately switched sides. They know themselves. Some of them are watching as we speak. All right.
To call it a wrap right now in this discussion, I mean, what do you think should be the way forward in Rivers State? Because someone was saying, I just received a call, someone just said, Wilson, this is just the beginning. Expect more fireworks. Because Fubara is not willing to give in. And of course, the people also that are fighting him are not willing to give in, that Rivers will suffer. Take it up from there.
Well, I'm not going to address just Rivers issue. Nigeria is not ready for democratic rule. I am not insinuating that the military should take over. That's not my insinuation. Yeah. You see, all these problems all this myriad of problems in State House of Assembly versus the state governors and all that, there are things that can be solved by just legislation or by just amending the Electoral Act in such a way that nobody is allowed to just cross-carpet from one party to the other. Once you are elected on a platform of a political party, you stay true to that party. If you have any reason that you want to decamp, then you resign and let the electorate elect another representative. Until we get there, we will continue to have these problems. The politicians are actually leveraging on this loophole to punish all of us. And it will continue. Until we do this, we are not ready for democratic rule. Because in this case now, we have 27 persons who were elected on a platform of one political party, differing to the other political party, and nothing will happen to them. Ideally, in a civilized line, the electorate that elected them can actually institute a recall through the electoral umpire to recall them, withdraw their mandates that they have invested in these persons. And then another process will start to elect new persons. But of course, like I told you, poverty has been weaponized.
Absolutely.
Poverty, everybody, I told you a moment ago before my friend got here, that our politicians have weaponized poverty in such a way that all the so-called political activists, all the people who are, let me not use the word all, most,
or some of them.
I would like to say most. Most.
Okay.
Look at our dear minister, former minister of State for Labour, my brother from Delta State, Keyamu. Keyamu was one of the loudest voices we had in this country. Keyamu was one of the loudest voices criticizing everybody in government, was an activist to the core. The only person I still respect when it comes to activism is former Governor Adams Oshomole. I'm really so impressed with his act in the National Assembly. You see, he is even urging Labour to probe into the pension funds that was borrowed by who? And also, recently, the issue of feeding dogs, 900 dogs, but with 800 naira a day. Even much more than what they spend in feeding prisoners.
I don't want to get emotional, so please, let's bring up that case.
Let me calm down. See, the dogs are even feeding better than people who are awaiting trial. People who are presumed innocent until they have been found guilty by a law court. They feed them 750 naira a day, 250 naira per meal. And then you are feeding dogs 800 naira a day. That's a policy issue. Oshomole said that. So I respect Adams Oshomole for standing up, I will call it, for the common man where necessary. But many of our political activists, political people, they want relevance. Once they are ahead, and then they just toss a morsel of meal. Of course, they now start singing on your mandate, and then everything is ended. Look at Rivers State now. Like I just told you, Wike gave over 200,000 people SSA work, senior special assistant to the governor, and all that. And then he has made friends in everywhere in Rivers State. Who will now arise? Which person want to lead a protest? Which person want to lead an agitation to stop this nonsense that is happening in Rivers State? In as much as I don't want to criticize the APC or criticize the PDP, but what is happening now is a coup. It's a coup against democracy. And the only way out of this mess, because it's not a recurrent decimal. It's recurrent. Many state governors, look at what is happening in our neighboring Ondo State here. The governor is sick. I don't want to use the word terminally ill. And then transmit power. You don't want to transmit power? The House of Assembly that should possibly do the right thing, but probably the speaker wants to be governor. He tried to impeach the deputy because he's not at all. So that, well, I don't know, all those their permutations,
all the calculations
and all that. And then we are still there. The man is still governor. And the man is not, the
have forging signatures now.
Ondo people are suffering.
That is disputable, right? Say for the signature, allegedly. They say no.
So my brother, to be very honest with you, my friend, to be very honest with you, our politicians should know how to get us out of these current problems that we have. We are not ready for democracy. The rest of the world is mocking us. I'm not saying things don't happen in the Western world or the people who are our model. Things happen there. But our world is just, in fact, we are now like model for the world. As in, we do new things every time.
To shock the world.
We are pacesetters. The democracy that we learned from the West. We have in modeling, I'm a mathematical modeler. Yes. I model disease problems. I use mathematics to solve diseases.
Yes.
Now, what we do most times, we have a disease model, we modify it, and introduce some parameter that will answer some specific questions in that model. That's what we do most of the time, or build models from the scratch. Now, the model we took, the model of democracy we took from the West, we have dismantled it and we have built our own. I'm sure the rest of the world will learn from us. We are not ready to go anywhere.
Maybe that was what Donald Trump was trying to learn from us, but America said no.
Exactly. Donald Trump will learn from us. The West will learn from us.
Thank you so much, Doc.
Well, Nigerians still shocking the world in the way they practice democracy.
So, Zachary, your last line. And having in mind also, yes, what is really going on. Some are like saying that some Ijaw indigenes in Rivers State are not really happy what Fubara did.
Okay, you see?
Don't have that at the back of my head because they knew what Wike really did for Fubara
Fubara
and did for
to
them.
yeah.
Hence, they are not taking sides
With Fubara.
with Fubara.
So you can
So
imagine.
pick from that angle.
Well, this again is what I want to, in the final analysis,
Yes.
my final comments, godfathers should go for confession. Yes.
What? They should go for
If
confession.
they are Christians, let them go for confession.
All right.
If they are Muslim, let them drink tuba and repent from wanting to impose God's sons on the state. If you have done your 8 years, allow a level playing field at the level of your party primaries. At the level of your party primaries, and then at the level of the general election, let the best man win. This is the simple secret. And for God's sons, you that has been spoon-fed, you that has been taken from nothing to something, even God himself will not be happy if he has made you so successful and you betray him. The story of Job is prominent. God gave him everything. The devil said, let us tempt this man. Say, tempt him with everything, but don't take his soul. If he does not betray me, the devil was sure that Job would betray.
Of course.
And the devil took everything and infirmed the man, made him so sick. But the man never betrayed his helper. And as soon as the devil noticed that there was no victory there, God restored him, according to scriptures, 1,000-fold. How can God will not come down from heaven like the time of Job to do things for human beings? How can a man invest so much in you? And I'm not talking about Wike now. Because I know I was part and parcel of the Edo story. In 2016, some of us took risks. I know people who sold their properties to support a man to be governor. And as soon as he became governor, he now made new friends. New friends that are alien to those who have been suffering. The long-suffering people of Edo State. And I want to advise, because let us domesticate it on. Similar everybody, their own is now happening. Our own is still in front of us, it can be corrected. Let me beg Mr. Governor, allow a level playing field in your political party. There should be no anointed candidate. There should be no governor's candidate, whether in words, in deeds, or in actions. Allow this level playing field. You've done your time. Allow Edo people in your party to choose their candidate, and they take it to the election to win. Otherwise, even if you succeed, the similar Fubara versus Wike story will be something we will refer to when we are discussing our own in another 1 year or 2 years time.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. Our time is up. Well, you've heard them. It's still very much on in Rivers, like, a game of chess. A move has been made in the board. 27 out of 32 defected to APC. Let's see the response or the move of Simi, how he's going to react. Don't forget that some Ejo indigenous Rivers State are really happy what is happening. We're like, look, you know what this man did for us? We are in the minority. He moved heaven, he moved hell, just to make sure that it's our turn to rule. And we are there now. Why not reciprocate? Others are saying, no, he is a governor. He should be allowed to breathe. Let Simi breathe. You see, two opposing thoughts. And the people of Rivers State, they are really going to feel this impact. Anyway, it's on left for divinity or who is in charge to decide. Gentlemen, wonderful analysis. Thank you so much. I
Two
appreciate
mathematicians today.
And
A doctor in mathematics and a BSc.
all right,
Thank you
and
so much
that's
for having us.
it. All right, and that's it on today's edition of This Morning on ITV. Tomorrow, Evans will be here to talk some more on burning issues. Bye for now.